Welcome to Cyber in the Clouds, a community podcast designed for cyber leaders and professionals. I'm Chloe, your host. I'm thrilled to have you all join us. So let's explore what's happening at the cutting edge of security today with our expert guest, Itzik Alvas. Hi, Itzik, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me, Chloe.
Amazing. No, thank you for jumping on. Do you want to introduce yourself and just tell the listeners who you are and where you come from?
Sure, I'm Itzik Alvas. I'm currently the CEO of Entro Security. Entro is a non-human identity lifecycle management and secret security platform. I've been in the cyber industry for almost 20 years now. Started in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, at one of the intelligence units over there. Actually was on the offensive side of cyber, but moving into the public market, I transitioned into cybersecurity, the defensive side of cyber. So prior to Entro Security, I was responsible for the internal security under one of Microsoft's clouds. Prior to that, I was a CISO for an healthcare organization, Chief Information Security Officer over there. And currently I'm based in Boston, just outside of Boston.
Nice. Amazing. Well, thank you for the intro. Today is all about discussing the rising threat of non-human identities in the cloud.
Right.
So we'll get straight into it. You mentioned that, you've been in security for a long time now. What truly sets Entro's security solutions apart from competitors? And I just wanted to take a quote from Adam, the CTO and co-founder to Entro as well. For every human identity, you'll have about 45 non-human identities created.
Yeah. Right, that's correct. Maybe let's frame for a second what are
Yeah.
non-human identities. So essentially, non-human identities are programmatic access keys that applications are using to access and authenticate resources they need. So basically, programmatic credentials like service accounts, API keys, and so forth. So if your application needs to use a database, they need some sort of a credential to authenticate against it, and those are the role of non-human identities. So Adam was correct to a point, and I'm gonna explain. So Gartner are saying there are 45 non-human identities for every human identity, every human employee you have within the organization. We're seeing at our customer base, we're seeing 92 for every. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. So for every human employee, you will have 92 non-human identities. We just published a report with a lot of cool statistics. So yeah, it means that there are a lot of those non-human identities, a lot of those credentials floating around in your organization, and the sheer size of them, trying to protect them, trying to even get an inventory to understand how many I have and where. That's a huge challenge for security teams.
Yeah, amazing. And I know that it's been named sort of the top two attack vectors as well. So it's very prevalent in today's market. But you've got some fantastic feedback from customers and CISOs from SolarWinds, SafeBreach, Elastic, all on your website for people to see. But what sort of feedback have you had personally from some of these customers? What challenges have they faced, and what have you been able to solve for these customers in the market?
Right. I think the main challenge with non-human identities is they are being created, permissioned, are used by teams that are not responsible to secure them. So they are being created, permissioned, and used mainly by developers and DevOps that those teams would like to run fast and build stuff. And the main problem with that is those non-human identities are being scattered all over the place. So the developer can store them, within a config file, which is basically exposed. You can store them within vaults. You can even send them through Teams or Slack channels to his buddy. And the main problem we're seeing in the industry is that security teams don't really know how many non-human identities they have, where or what they're able to do, why they were created, and so forth. So that's the main challenge we're seeing, and I think for like everything about security or even about any company is like you have two axes. One of them is I want to run fast. I want to maybe the speed one. The other one will be the security one. So if every time you are creating a non-human identity, the developer will need to review a bunch of things and talk with security and so forth. Maybe you're gonna be secure to a point, but you're gonna be very slow. The other side of it is maybe you can allow everything, like developers can do everything they want. You're gonna be very fast, but you're gonna be less secure or probably not secure at all. And as you mentioned, that's for the past 4 years in a row by both Verizon and IBM, the leading reports. Those are non-human identities attacks are the second most frequent attack vector. By the way, the number one most costly attack. So I assume choosing the first one and not being secure, that's probably not the best option. And Entro helps organization security teams basically to reclaim control over those non-human identities by managing and automating and securing their life cycle. And we're doing that out of band. So we can help organization to also be secure, but also run really fast. And that's the main feedback we're hearing, that we're helping organization to, with speed, with cost, and with, of course, security. So that's great.
That's amazing. You've grown so much over the past few years so far. I was hearing you on another podcast a few months ago, doubling the R&D team. You're now set in Boston as well, and I hope you've settled in well now. So how is everything now that you've really grown the business over the last few months, really?
Yeah, I'll start with Boston. Moving from sunny Tel Aviv, sunny Israel to Boston, I can't even bear the thought of another winter over here. But I really like the place. I really like Boston. So thanks for asking. In terms of the business, yes, we're growing. So I personally experienced 3 different breaches with non-human identities, and that's basically why I started Entro. We were the first to market with that problem area with our platform. So being first, gave us the first mover advantage, and we are running fast. We have a great platform that we have dozens of customers. You named some of them, big enterprises. So yes, we are scaling. It's never easy to scale, or maybe changes are never easy, but it's also great. It's also great seeing our platform gaining so much traction, and what I felt as a CISO, the problems that I had, now I'm able to solve them to other organizations.
That's really great. And coming from the CISO's perspective as well, that's all salespeople want to know. What's going on in the CISO's minds? What can we help
Right,
solve the
right.
challenges of?
We're
So
always saying that we're
yeah,
practitioners selling to practitioners. We're building what we wanted.
amazing. And what do you feel are the key traits and characteristics that you've found from the founding team that you've built over the last few years? Is there anything specific that you can pinpoint that you've looked out for in individuals who are joining Entro?
Um, yeah, for sure. I think hiring as as a CEO. So there are stuff that I'm used to it. Like I was always on the cybersecurity engineering side. So, hiring developers and the R&D department, that was maybe more easy for me to do. Um, hiring, marketing, sales, and so forth. So I was never a part of that world. That was maybe more challenging. I think the main, okay, some people hire for experience, like, hey, that guy or girl did it before. I think you should hire for lack of knowledge. So if you don't know how to sell your product, and you don't have the processes, then bring that knowledge in-house. If you don't know how to market your product, then bring that knowledge in-house. So try to hire for the knowledge you need and not the experience. I know it's a statement, and we should probably break it down, but that's the main goal.
It's really hard when trying to, get the right people involved in your business, which is your baby, really, isn't it?
Right.
You've founded the business and everything, so it's hard to get the right people in, but also giving people the opportunity as well is also great. So no, I think that could be another podcast episode in itself
For
on
sure.
who to
For sure.
hire in cyber startups,
Yeah.
definitely. But congratulations to you guys on reaching sort of Series A this year. Spearheaded by some fantastic VCs like Dell Technologies and previous seed investors like Hyperwise and Stage One as well. Just wondered what some of the key challenges you've faced sort of getting to Series A have been, and I'm pretty sure that there's plenty, but if you could think about a few key takeaways to get into that point, is there anything that you can share?
Sure. So I think when you're raising money for the seed round, like when you're, out of the gate, what you want to prove is, hey, there's a problem over here. I think I have a solution for it. Like I try to validate my solution with as many people as I can, with practitioners and so forth. So that's what you need to, very high level, that's what you need to prove. During the A round, you kind of, need to have evidence for it. So we started with, hey, there's a problem in the market. I think there's a problem. I think I have the right solution. During the A round or before the A round, you actually need to prove it, to have justifications for it. And the main way to do it is getting customers. And not only getting customers, but having your customers using your product in the same way, solving the same problem, solving it by the same features and same pillars and so forth. And we were lucky enough to, build the right platform, have all types of different verticals and customers, Fortune 100s and so forth, that are using our platform in the same way as a small startup do, solving the same problem, automating and securing the lifecycle of non-human identities, and then basically like placing an AirTag over them, reclaiming control over them. And that was the main challenge. And that's what you should do if you're going into an A round.
Amazing. No, that's really good advice, and there'll be plenty of people that can use it in today's landscape. I mean, the investment that's going into tech and particularly cyber, is huge. So
Yeah.
definitely good
For a
advice.
good reason, by the way, for a good reason.
Yes, of course. And in terms of the future growth and Entro's roadmap, you've had some really notable awards this year, like the VSA's Best Emerging Tech, Top Innovation, just to name a couple. You've had many more. You're now, like we mentioned, based in Boston, where the go-to-market team is based. What is the roadmap for Entro going forward, going into 2025?
Yeah, so we're gonna double. So we already doubled our size, but we're gonna redouble our size. We're gonna double it again. So basically, we're gonna continue what we're doing. Be the global leader in the non-human identity vertical and secret security vertical, continue to innovate in that space, and acquire hopefully more significant customers. And we're doubling our size to support all of that. So yes, until in 2025, that's what we're gonna do. Continue to do what we're currently doing, innovate, improve our platform, and keep leading that vertical.
Amazing. Really good to hear. And more on a personal note, I ask everyone this at the end of these podcasts. What does Itzik do to actually unwind from the daily grind of being a CEO and co-founder of a startup cyber vendor?
Right, that's a great question. You know, I like running. I like doing a lot of different stuff, but like I feel comfortable when basically I'm finishing my work, which is never the case. So I assume walking, and you know, running.
Lovely. And is everyone family-wise settled in now? The dog okay in the States and everything, enjoying his time?
Everybody is settled over here, and yeah, the dog the dog is great. Yeah, you know, relocating with the dog is not easy. At least the flight is not easy, but other than that, everything has been perfect.
Oh, amazing stuff. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I think that's all we have time for, but it's great that you've joined us. Stay tuned for more coming later this month on Cyber in the Clouds, and see you very soon. Thanks, Itzik.
Thanks for having me, Chloe.
Thank you.